Chapter 65. We ran into Chloe as soon as we approached Bedford. She was sitting on a bench outside the door, fanning herself.
"Whoa," said Mel. "What's the matter? It's not that hot."
Now that we were in the last week of November, the morning temperatures were a cool and pleasant 50 degrees. "Panic attack," said Chloe. She sounded more resigned than actually panicking. "Or whatever it is. My dad keeps talking about hypoglycemia and diabetes and prediabetes. He wants me to see a friend of his." Chloe's father was a surgeon with a lot of connections in the Atlanta medical world. "Maybe that's a good idea," I said. "Yeah, I've been too scared to actually start measuring my blood sugar regularly. What if it is diabetes?"
"Then you'd want to start getting it under control ASAP," I said.
"Yeah, I think I'd rather not know, but—" She looked around. Students and faculty were streaming past us, hurrying to their morning classes, but no one appeared to be paying any attention to us at all. "I hate these whatever they are episodes. I feel like I'm letting everyone down. Not just myself, after all the work I put into getting this far, but my family and my professors and my advisor and, I know it sounds hokey, but like, my people. I knew it was going to be tough, being the only Black tenure-track faculty member here, single-handedly integrating a college that used to be a plantation, but I was proud to be the one to do it. Only, I'm failing at that too, failing everyone." "You're not failing them," I said. Okay, I wasn't going to be able to ask Chloe for help either. She already had enough on her plate.
"Fuck no," said Mel. "Especially if the reason you feel so bad is because of all that fucking poisonous ex-plantation air or all the toxic mold or whatever shit is in all these buildings. If anything, they're failing you."
Chloe sighed. "That doesn't help me very much. If I'm the failure, then at least there's something I can do about it."
"Yeah," said Mel. "Hey, speaking of doing something, how do you feel about a final research meeting? Maybe on Thursday. We need you to kick our butts into finishing our articles."
Chloe smiled. Faintly, but she seemed to be recovering from her attack of whatever. "I've never been called a butt kicker before. I like it. And I'd love to kick your butts, but it can't be on Thursday. I'm actually supposed to go see my family. One of my aunties is doing poorly. Can we do it Tuesday afternoon instead?" Mel and I looked back and forth and nodded.
"Tuesday afternoon sounds great," Mel said. "Be there or be square."
Chapter 66. Madison and I talked again Monday night. She was still in New York, she said, but was planning to catch a midnight bus out of the Port Authority bus terminal.
"And then I'll, disappear," she said, "only to, resurface at your place a couple days later. Is that okay?"
"Sure," I said. "Have you heard anything from your mom?" I asked. "Or anything about the whole situation?"
"Nuh-uh. She hasn't talked to me, and I've been too scared to reach out to her. But Aunt Sybil said some stuff that made me think my dad's talked to her, and he thinks she might be, in danger of going to jail over this."
"Wow," I said. Well, honestly, I don't know what to say. It would be rough for all of you if she went to prison, especially over something like this. But I can't really condone what she's been doing."
"Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either, to be honest, Professor H. Except I know I, really don't want Vadim to catch me, especially if I think he had anything to do with all this."
"When's he supposed to arrive in the U.S., if he still comes?" I asked.
"Dunno. The retreat/gathering thingy is next week. Mom said something about having me come meet him beforehand, for some fun cousinly togetherness. That was supposed to be this upcoming weekend. So I'm guessing he and his buds are supposed to get here on Friday or something. Unless they're already here. I think there's
5 of them altogether, though only Vadim's actually related to me. And I think Mom would tell me when he gets here, because she really wants me to spend more time with him. She thinks he'll, straighten me out or something. She thinks he's, a good role model for me. Oh, I said. Well, hopefully you've got some time then. Hopefully. Anyway, I'm off to Port Authority. Wish me luck, Professor H, and I'll call you in a couple of days to let you know where I am. Good luck, I said. Ni pucha ni pira. Yeah, are you supposed to say, go to hell in response? Indeed, I said. Okay, then. Go to hell, Professor H, and I guess I'll see you there or something. She laughed. Sounds awfully dramatic, doesn't it? Bet this whole thing'll, turn out to be a big nothing. But I still can't shake the feeling that I need to get the fuck out of town, so I'm doing it. I already managed to get most of my professors to agree to give me incompletes for the semester. I'll figure out what to do about that next semester, if I live that long. She laughed some more, reveling in the drama of the situation, but with an undertone of real fear. You know where to find me if you need me, I said. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about Madison's dash for supposed safety. On the one hand, I thought it might be good for her. She needed the opportunity to get out and do stuff on her own, and here she was, getting out and doing stuff on her own. On the other hand, I was genuinely worried for her, and it was adding to all my other worries and my general sense of anxiety and dread. I didn't think that Vadim Zhurayev and his cronies were a danger, yet. Once they came over to the U.S., they could be very, very dangerous, in a way that even Madison didn't quite seem to understand. Just thinking about what they might do if they actually did decide to come after us made me feel sick, and I wanted to go run and hide, throwing myself down some deep, dark hole where no one could ever find me. In the meantime, though, I was more worried that Madison would do something stupid or run into the normal dangers that attended travel, especially sudden travel by bus by a naive young woman on her own. And my worry, I assumed, was just a faint echo of what Madison's mother felt for her every day. When I thought about it that way, I could sympathize with why Brenda might do something crazy if she thought it would protect her daughter. It was just unfortunate that she was probably putting her in the worst danger she'd ever been in and hopefully ever would be in her entire life. I counseled myself not to do something stupid like Brenda and let Madison take off on her bus trip. The most likely outcome was that she would have a little adventure, probably with some minor unpleasantnesses, but nothing actually dangerous, and then she'd have to deal with the fallout of running off at the end of the semester, and it would be a funny story that she could tell later in life. The best thing I could do for her was to be on standby if she needed help. And while I was on standby, I should go work on my article. It was one of those important but not urgent things that always got pushed to the back of the queue of tasks, until one day you realized you hadn't done it and were going to end up unemployed and unemployable as a result. Or something equally dire. It was easy to get caught up in the drama of extremists maybe coming after you with evil intent, but what you really needed to worry about was your own inability to motivate yourself to do tedious but essential tasks that no one else was going to make you do. Telling myself this, I set off Tuesday afternoon for Chloe's. Chapter 67. We had agreed to meet at 2 p.m. at Chloe's. Mel had some errands she needed to run, so we decided to take separate vehicles over there. I pulled up to the curb just behind her. "Hey, Ro," Mel said, jumping out of the Jeep and coming over to me before I could extricate myself from my car. "Need a hand with anything? Want me to carry your laptop in for you?" "Well, aren't you the one who's supposed to be really sick?" She shrugged. "Yeah, but today's a good day. I woke up in the middle of the night, sweating and shaking and thinking I was going to throw up,
But after an hour or so it passed, and now I feel fine. Well, except for my knees hurting, and my elbows, and my fucking thumbs. I swear to God, you don't appreciate your thumbs until you have to try to go without them. Anyway, want me to carry anything for you?
I can get it, I said. I'm feeling remarkably healed. My knee feels almost back to normal, knock on wood. We both looked around for some wood to knock on and settled for knocking on our heads. I just probably shouldn't run on it, I said.
Yeah, and hey, at least we got out of the pre-turkey trot this year. I'm hoping we get out of the lamb chop trot in the spring, too.
Every cloud has a silver lining, I said. Crimson had a 5K race for faculty each semester, one right before Thanksgiving and one right before Easter. Once it had been discovered that both Mel and I were good runners, our voluntary participation had been mandatory. While in general we had nothing against running a 5K, being forced to run in a race that involved parading in goofy costumes in front of the entire college had been decidedly non-awesome. Plus, we'd both gotten injured. Having a legitimate reason to sit this year's races out was a welcome side effect of our otherwise miserable health problems. Chloe met us at the door. Her normal expression of shy reserve was replaced with a smile that was almost glowing.
"Well, look at you," said Mel as she stepped inside. "What's up? Have you fallen in love? Found some replacement for that loser you showed us earlier?"
"What? What loser? Oh, him. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about him anymore. I just got word. The book! They're going to publish the book. I mean, they've accepted this round of edits and sent it on to copy editing. They're expecting it to come out soon, maybe as early as next summer. I'm going to have a book." "Congratulations," Mel and I both said at once. "Yeah, I know. It's just such a long, difficult process. Although it's been quick and easy compared to what I've heard about from other people. But it felt long to me, almost a whole year. And it won't come out for another 6 months at least. And it's like having a child or something, isn't it? Like, it's practically that exciting, isn't it?"
"Something like that," Mel said. "You've created something. You're putting it out there in the world. That's awesome."
"Thanks. I'm just so excited." Chloe chattered away as we got set up at her dining room table, telling us what a relief it was, what a vindication, what a feeling of accomplishment to finally have a book. "I guess I should stop going on about it," she said eventually. "It's just, I've been working towards this for more than half a decade, and it's finally here. Well, almost here. It will be here in 6 months. Oh, God! What if something goes wrong? I don't know if I can stand it if something goes wrong."
"Nothing's going to go wrong," Mel and I said together.
"But it could."
"Anything could happen," Mel said. "But dollars to donuts. That book's going to come out and right on time."
"Yeah. So anyway, what's new with you?"
"Nothing much," said Mel. "What about you, Ro? By the way, how's that internet dating thing you said you were going to do? Any luck?"
"No luck whatsoever," I said. "In fact, I quit without getting a single date. But that's okay. I've got enough to deal with right now." For a moment, I thought once again about telling them about Madison, but then nixed the idea. If anyone did come after her, we needed as few people as possible to know where she was. Instead, I told them about my parents' house-building adventures and how I might have gotten volunteered to help out with it. "That could be cool," said Chloe. She sighed. "I've never gotten to build anything before. My life has always been about school. School, school, nothing but school. And that's okay, especially now with the whole book thing, but sometimes I want something more. Do you ever feel that way?" I nodded.
"Fuck yeah," said Mel. "I was in the fucking military, remember? I wanted to devote myself to a higher purpose, serve the greater good, all that shit. And I thought I would do a great job at it. Only the whole time I was there, I was always been measured by my ability to be a man, so I was always coming up short. Fucked me up big time. Now I gotta figure out how to live my life as a woman. A butch woman, sure, but a woman. And I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't think it's just about school, even if females are, on average, better at it.
Yeah, Chloe sighed again. I could see the high from the book news draining out of her, like watching a balloon deflating. I always figured I'd do the whole being a woman thing by getting married and having a kid. I mean, not as a substitute for the school thing, but as a complement. And I figured it would just happen, like it did for my mom and most other women I knew. She snorted. I don't know why I thought that, since socialization was always my weak point. But I just thought, hey, life finds a way, right? Only it hasn't for me yet. So far, it's only found a way for other women. Women whom I want to call basic bitches. She put her hand over her mouth. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But it's how I feel. And I'll be 30 in a couple of years. Being almost 30 and single and childless was the thing I feared most for myself. I mean, other than washing out of school. And now that it's here, I just don't know if I can stand it. And I feel so anxious and messed up most of the time that even if I could find a man, which I can't, my body is probably now a toxic waste dump. If I had a baby, it'd probably be a Ninja Turtle or something, and not in a good way.
Ha, said Mel. Wait until you're almost 40 in a single and childless toxic waste dump. Then you'll know the true meaning of loneliness and despair. I don't even want to think about what it's going to be like when I'm 50.
You're a lesbian, said Chloe. What do you want marriage and kids for?
We both looked at her.
Oh, shoot, she said. That was one of those things you're not supposed to say, right? I mean, you know I put my foot in my mouth every time I open it. My mouth, not my foot. You know what I mean. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings.
I know, said Mel. And a lot of lesbians don't want marriage or kids. But the ones that do really, really want it. And it's starting to eat at me.
I'm sorry, said Chloe. It's eating at me too, and I don't even want it as a life goal. It's just, why does it have to be so hard? I guess this is why I'm good at school stuff, though. Sublimation, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, said Mel, so we can devote ourselves to our students like Roe does.
They both turned and looked at me.
I don't think my devotion to my students is my way of sublimating my maternal instinct, I said. Oh, wait, maybe it is. Another example of how my job was taking everything that was best and most precious to me and using it to make money for other people. Well, look at it this way, Mel said. Given the state of the environment and all that, maybe the most loving maternal act we can make is not to have children.
That's too depressing to think about, said Chloe. I wanted to agree, but I also suspected that Mel might be right. Books, I said out loud. We should concentrate on our books. We don't have anything else right now, and we may never have anything else. So let's make them good. Chapter 68. Our super depressing conversation at Chloe's stayed with me the rest of the day, and the next day, and the next. My main takeaway from it was that, once again, I was being used. No, I was letting myself be used. I should stand up for myself. I should, what? Not help other people who needed my help. Madison texted Wednesday night to tell me she was safe. Then, as I was staring out at the dreary, rainy Thursday morning that was the first day of December, the first day of Advent, she knocked on my door. "Surprise!" she said when I opened it. "I'm here!" Wow, I said. Come in. I thought you were going to call me first.
I was, but then I thought it would be better to surprise you. Make it more of a secret. Did it work? Are you surprised?
A bit, I said. Glad you made it safely. No one's been asking after you here. Have you noticed anyone following you? She shook her head. Nuh-uh. Although Vadim and the rest of the cousins are only coming in today, I think. Well, good, I guess, I said. Have you heard anything more from your mom? She shook her head again.
I talked to her a couple of times, actually, to try to throw her off the scent. She's upset about what happened to Carrie, but so far she's stayed out of jail herself. She was just hauled in for questioning a couple of times, which she's super pissed about. But she's planning to go ahead with the retreat thingy.
Madison took a deep breath.
It occurred to me after I left that maybe me running off like this would look suspicious. So I told her I was having problems and was checking into rehab again. She was super pissed about that too. Or, she was pleased that I was doing it voluntarily. But she was super upset about me needing to do it. She started to cry and everything. And she really started to put on the pressure to get me to come to the retreat. I almost said yes, just to scope it out.
Don't do it, I said. If you thought it was dangerous, then going to it deliberately with the specific intent of scoping it out would be even more dangerous. Stay far away.
Madison gave me a double take. Geez, Professor H, you are spooked about this thing. I thought you didn't really take it seriously and were just humoring me about it. But you think it's dangerous too, don't you?
I think it could be, I said. I think if you have a gut feeling that it's dangerous, you should stay away. Besides, you wouldn't enjoy it, would you?
Nah, sounds like a real drag at the best of times. Glad I have a reason to get out of it. But,
she swallowed hard.
I'm feeling kind of bad for my mom. She was really upset when she heard I was going back into rehab. She was so upset, I felt bad even telling her about it, even though it's not true. She's gonna be hurting real bad over it for a while, and it's a lie. That's not a good feeling, especially when it's your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I said, but she's also put you in a really bad position. It's not like you're doing this just to be mean to her. And maybe if she's separated from this Carrie person, she'll straighten out and you can be friends again and you won't have to deceive her for her own good anymore.
Maybe, said Madison, sounding skeptical. So what's up for the rest of the day?
What was up for the rest of the day was me writing my final exams and review exercises, while Madison mooched around the apartment, watching videos on her phone and heroically trying not to complain about being bored. We discussed the possibility of her going out and doing something, or of introducing her to my friend so that she'd have someone else to talk to, but we agreed it was too dangerous. If we were operating under the assumption that someone with the ability and the will to cause grievous bodily harm might have a grudge against Madison and might carry that grudge so far as to track her down, then she needed to be in hiding. It was just that being in hiding was boring. Very boring. Madison's boredom was alleviated when Fevronia came slinking out from under the bed to check her out.
"Oh, hey, kitty," Madison said. "Good to see you again. You and me are friends, aren't we?"
And she proceeded to dangle the drawstring from her hoodie in front of Fevronia's face, encouraging her to play. To my extreme astonishment, Fevronia batted at the string. First with one paw, then with the other, and then she was leaping and pouncing and rolling like a kitten. "I've never seen her do that before," I said. I got her some toys and tried to get her to play with them when I first brought her home, but she never seemed interested in them at all. Mostly she just seems to like being ignored.
You gotta do it right,
Madison said authoritatively.
Cats know if you want to make them play, and they won't. You gotta want to play, but not try too hard. You gotta...
Her phone pinged. A second later, my phone pinged too. We looked at each other, our eyes wide and staring with sudden alarm. Probably a complete coincidence, I told myself, but it felt ominous.
Go on, Madison said. I'll check mine if you'll check yours. It's probably nothing, right?
Right, I said. I looked at my phone. The message was from Frank.
Row, call me as soon as you get this. We need to talk ASAP. Important!
Chapter 69.
It's a message,
Madison said. Her eyes were wide again. From my alphabet agency contact. He wants me to call him right away. Then you probably should, I said. And I've got someone who wants me to call too. Let's do it. We instinctively turned away from each other and went into opposite ends of the apartment, Madison into the kitchen and me to the far end of the dining room table. Before I could call back on the message, my phone started to ring. Frank.
Row, he said as soon as I picked up. You're here. Good. I wasn't sure whether to call you or text you. Decided to try both. Listen, something's come up. Something big. Where are you? Are you safe?
I hope so, I said. I'm in my apartment. Why?
You know that organization you told me about? Those guys that are supposed to come over?
Uh-huh, I said.
Well, they're here. I was hoping to stop them from coming over, but I couldn't. They arrived late last night.
Uh-huh, I said again.
And we monitored some disturbing conversations from them.
Uh-huh, I said for a third time. I wanted to ask how Frank had gotten assigned to the task force or whatever it was that was following this group, and how he had gotten permission to monitor their communications, and, in general, what was going on. I decided to hold off on that until I had a clearer picture of how life-threatening the danger I was in was.
It sounds like they want to come after you, specifically the leader, Vadim.
Frank did a surprisingly passable job of pronouncing his name. Oh dear, I said.
No fucking kidding. What did you do to piss this guy off, Ro?
I'm not sure, I said. There are several possibilities.
Jesus Christ, Ro. You need to be more careful.
I know, I said. So what should I do about it?
For the moment, sit tight. Don't go out, don't let anyone in. I'm on my way now.
You're coming here? I felt slow and stupid.
Yeah, on my way to the airport right now. Should be there by first thing tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, don't open the door to anyone but me.
I said. Okay, but why? I mean, why are you on your way here?
Because,
he said, speaking slowly and clearly as if to a confused toddler,
you might be in danger, Ro.
Yeah, but...
And this is my case, partly. I got myself put on it because of my connection to you, even though I'm on the wrong side of the country. So sit tight, wait for me, and don't so much as stick your nose outside your door until you hear my voice. Got it?
I said. Sure.
Tell me you've got it, Ro. I'm fucking serious here.
I've got it, I said. I'll be very careful, I promise. I take these guys seriously. I really do. I won't do anything to endanger myself.
Good. I'm going to hold you to that, Row. Okay, I'm at the airport now. I'll let you know when I've boarded, and again when I arrive. And I mean it. If the Virgin Mary asks you to open your door, don't do it. Don't so much as peek out of it until you hear my voice.
Got it, I said. I won't.
Good. You alone?
No.
Oh.
There was a short pause.
Who's with you? A friend? Boyfriend?
I said. Not exactly. Madison, the, person who, has the original connection with these guys.
Oh, great, great! We've been looking for her, too. Only anything that makes it easier for us to find you makes it easier for them to find you. So be doubly careful, okay? Promise me you'll be careful, Row. Careful for both of you.
I promise, I said. Should we, keep all the lights off and pretend not to be here?
Might not be a bad idea, he said. I was going to tell you to get out and check into a hotel, but I'm afraid they'll already be watching the place. They were supposed to fly into Newark, but instead they flew into Atlanta. They could be there already. Assume they are there already. Keep your blinds drawn and your lights off. You got any rooms there that don't have exterior windows?
Just the bathroom, I said.
Maybe hang out in the bathroom until I get there.
That could be, 12 hours? I said. That's a long time to hide in the bathroom, especially with someone else.
Fair enough, but don't hesitate to shelter in there if you think something suspicious is happening. If they knock on your door or something, don't answer. Just go straight into the bathroom and lock yourself in. It has a lock, doesn't it?
It does.
Great. Do you have a gun? Any kind of weapon for self-defense?
Just a couple of kitchen knives.
Kitchen knives won't do much against firearms. But it's better than nothing, I guess. Keep them close at hand.
Okay, I said. Will do.
Great. Great. I'm approaching security. I'll keep in touch. Answer me right away, okay?
Okay, I agreed. And, thanks. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. Stay safe. Bye.
The call clicked off. I got up and looked over at Madison, who was standing by the sink, her eyes deer in the headlights wide.
They think,
she choked, swallowed, and tried again.
They think they're after me, Vadim and the other cousins. They said they're in Atlanta. Somehow they found me already.
I think they might have found me, I said. You just happened to be here.
They said to stay put and hide. They said someone's coming from the Atlanta office and to stay put until then. But it might not be for another couple of hours. What do we do?
We stay put and hide, I said. Preferably with the blinds drawn and the lights out. We both looked at the big window looking out onto the parking lot from the living/dining room area. It faced west. The sun, red and fat, was just sinking below a crimson horizon, filling the parking lot and the room with an eerie, bloody glow.
I'm scared, Madison said in a small voice. I'm scared to go over to the window and draw the blinds.
I'll do it. I'm closer. I stepped over to the window, trying to stand to the side of it, but aware how I was limned by the setting sun and the ceiling light, no doubt starkly visible through the glass. My fingers felt stiff and slick as I pulled on the cords of the blinds. I pulled on the cords unevenly, letting down only one side of the slats, and had to raise them all the way up again and try a second time before I got them fully lowered. Turn out the light, I said, stepping back. My heart was racing and sweat was trickling down my sides. Madison switched off the light, plunging us into a crimson, shadowy twilight. "There's another window in the kitchen," I said. "Can you go lower those blinds?" "I'm scared." Madison's voice was shaking. "I know, but you're closest. Do it quick." Madison took the one step to the window over the kitchen sink. It took her 3 tries to lower the blinds. As soon as they were down, she ran around the kitchen island to come stand beside me, hugging herself and visibly trembling. "I'll go close the blinds in the bedroom," I said. "And then we can share notes, make a plan." "My face feels funny," Madison said. "Like I've taken too much coke. But I haven't touched any in months, I swear." "It's just fear," I told her. "It's stupid. We're probably not actually in any real danger anyway. But we could be," I agreed. "So we think we are. And it's scary, but help is coming. I'm going to shut the bedroom blinds, and then we'll cook dinner in the dark or something. It'll be like camping." "I fucking hate camping," said Madison. Her voice sounded stronger. "Good. It'll help keep your mind off things. I'll be right back." I walked through the twilight into the bedroom. I was already feeling much calmer. Sure, it was scary, but seriously, how much danger could we really be in? Vadim and his cronies weren't going to snipe through the windows at us, were they? They were probably waiting to grab us in the parking lot. If they were here at all. Maybe they hadn't gotten here yet. Maybe they had no intention of coming here at all. Madison and I were just minor annoyances to them, right? My bed was right under the bedroom window. I climbed up onto it to reach the cords for the blinds. Something flashed in the parking lot. I froze, outlined against the bare glass. Something flashed again. "A phone screen," I thought. "It's just a phone screen. Someone sitting in their car, looking at their phone." I looked down. A car was parked in the spot directly opposite my bedroom and living room windows. 2 people were sitting in the front seats. 2 bulky men. Both of them were looking up at me. One of them held up his phone in front of him. "He's taking a picture," I thought. Then, "He's taking a picture of me!" Chapter 70. I jerked back from the window, fumbling with the cords for the blinds and almost pulling the whole thing down and falling off the bed in my haste. Then I stumbled out of the bedroom, closing the door behind me, as if that would make things safer. "I think they're watching us from the parking lot," I told Madison. "What did your contact say? That they're sending someone from Atlanta?" "Uh-huh. Should get here in about 2 hours." I wavered for a moment. Then I called Frank. "Ro, what's up?" "I think they're here, in the parking lot. I was closing the blinds, and I'm pretty sure someone took a picture of me from inside his car." "Shit." "Yeah. Listen, Madison's contact is telling her that they're sending someone over from Atlanta. Do you know anything about this?" A pause. Then Frank said, "Let me get back to you about that." He hung up. Madison and I turned off the kitchen light and sat at the dining room table in the reddish twilight filtering in through the blinds. It felt horribly exposed. I was terrifyingly, dreadfully aware that there was nothing but a piece of glass and some slender metal slats between me and men who might want to kill me. My whole body hurt with the knowledge, as if their presence were a special kind of radiation that was stripping away my skin, exposing the raw nerve endings underneath. I found myself thinking of what I could do to get them to go away. They didn't want me for me, right? They were after me because of Madison and Dima. Could I talk my way out of this? I'd had luck with that before. I was a persuasive talker, especially under pressure, and people liked me. For all I knew, Vadim and his cronies would be easily turned in my favor. I'd tell them how much we had in common, how we could find a common ground, how Madison was really their close kin and they shouldn't hurt either of us. They should let us go. My phone rang. I jumped in my seat, suppressing a shriek. Across the table, Madison yelped in fright. "It's okay," I told her, with what I hoped was a reassuring smile. "It's Frank, my friend in the FBI who's on his way here. Help is coming." "Not fucking fast enough," said Madison. She was hugging herself and shivering slightly. I gave her what I hoped was another reassuring smile and answered the phone. "Row," said Frank. "What's up? Are they still outside?" "I don't know," I said. "I closed all the blinds and turned off the lights. Now I'm sitting in a darkened room waiting for help to arrive." "Good. I mean, that's the right thing to do. Listen, I checked in with Atlanta. They are sending someone. You know how it is. Coordinating even a small operation like this is a total bitch. Anyway, they're sending a guy named Xavier Thornton over. I don't know him, but I just talked to him, and he seems solid enough. He's trying to coordinate with local law enforcement right now. It might delay him a little, but it'll mean someone could be coming over to you a lot sooner than he or I can get there." "Okay," I said. "That's good." "Yeah, just be really, really sure that if someone comes up to the door and says they're law enforcement, that they're actually law enforcement. Make them show you their badge through the peephole before you open the door to them. And even then be careful. I don't like this, Row. I don't like the idea of a bunch of guys I don't know walking in there. But I like the idea of you by yourself with some bad guys out in the parking lot taking pictures of you even less." "Yeah," I said. "Me too. We'll be super careful. Xavier Thornton, you said. Do you know what he looks like?" "Black guy, older, heavy Southern accent." "So we're unlikely to confuse him with a 30-something Ukrainian white supremacist." Frank let out a harsh laugh. "Yeah, that makes me feel a little better. And he really does seem on the ball. I just won't feel okay until I'm over there. Oh shit, they're calling my flight. I've got to board now or I'll miss it. It's a non-stop to Atlanta, 4.5 hours. I'll call you as soon as I get in." "Okay," I said. And, thanks. And, have a nice flight." "Take care of yourself," he said, and hung up. Chapter 71. "What's the name of the guy from Atlanta who's supposed to be coming?" I asked Madison. She frowned. "Something weird. Shit, I can't remember. They told me, and I'm totally fucking blanking on it." "It's okay," I said. "It's from nerves. It happens a lot. It wasn't Thornton, was it?" "Yeah, something Thornton. Xavier, with an X. They spelled it out for me." "Okay, good." I felt marginally more relaxed, having a double confirmation that someone named Xavier Thornton was on the way from Atlanta. I would feel even better if I knew that the local police were on their way, too. Couldn't they just arrest the guys in the car? I was hazy on the legality of that. The FBI had gotten permission to monitor these guys' phones, which implied a warrant of some sort. But did that mean that the Greenfields police could arrest them for sitting in their car and maybe taking some pictures? Even if they couldn't, I told myself, they could show up, which might be deterrence enough. Although it might make Vadim run off, and maybe they wanted to catch him. Maybe they were using me and Madison as bait. My panicked musings were interrupted by blue and red lights filling up the apartment like strobe lights at a disco. "Thank God!" Madison cried. "We're not safe yet," I warned, but I felt my whole body unclench. Madison got up and went over to the window. "Be careful!" I cried as she made to look through the blinds. "You don't know?" "There's a car parked right across from us with a couple of guys in the front," she said. "And It looks like they're starting up their car. They're leaving. Looks like the police are following them."
I got up and peeked through the blinds, too. Sure enough, the car with the guys who had been watching me earlier was pulling out of the parking lot. The police car, still with its lights on, was following it.
"We're safe,"
Madison said. "For now," I said. Chapter 72. The two cars went out of the front gate of the apartment complex, but then stopped on the side of the street leading to the gate. Madison and I watched as one of the police officers got out of his car and went over to the window of the other car. We stood there watching for so long that my left knee started to ache as the police officer talked to the driver, and then talked into his radio, and conferred with his partner, and talked into his radio some more, and then went back and talked to the driver again. A second squad car arrived, and there was some more talking and conferring with partners and radios. Then all three cars set off in a caravan, with the men who'd been photographing me still in their vehicle, which was in the middle of the three-car parade. "Huh," Madison and I said together. A few minutes later, Madison got a call. It was Xavier Thornton on his way down from Atlanta. The men in the car had agreed to voluntarily report to the local police station for questioning, he told us. He was on his way straight to the station. He'd probably be by to talk to us later this evening. Meanwhile, we should sit tight and not go anywhere. "You're probably safe enough now," I heard him tell Madison. He did indeed have a heavy Southern accent. It went well with the deep, gravelly voice of a heavy-set older man and longtime smoker. "But just in case, stay indoors until we give you the all-clear. Got it?" "Got it," said Madison. She sounded remarkably subdued. "We won't go anywhere until we see you, I promise." "Good. Talk to you in a bit." Madison ended the call and looked up. "Can we turn on the lights now?" she asked plaintively. "And have some supper? All of a sudden, I'm starving." "Sure," I said. I went around flicking on all the lights in the apartment. I even found myself checking out the bathroom, but the only thing I found there was Fevronia, who had been napping on a spare bath towel in the cabinet under the vanity. She gave me a one-eyed glare and went back to sleep. I backed quietly out of the bathroom, but I left the bedroom light on and the blinds drawn. I was creeped out by the idea of darkness, but I was also creeped out by the idea of someone being able to look in through my windows. With the apartment firmly closed up to the outside world, Madison and I made a meal of pasta and tomato sauce. For the first half of it, Madison was silent, still uncharacteristically subdued. Once she'd downed a plate of pasta, she started talking, growing more and more hyper. If I hadn't been as sure as I could be that she'd had no access to drugs for hours, I'd have assumed she was high on speed or coke. When we were done with supper, there was still no news, so we settled for watching a movie. Madison said any kind of crime thriller or horror was too scary right now, so we settled for some kind of teen romance about an ordinary American girl who wins the love of a European prince. Madison kept making retching noises throughout it, but watched it until the end, eyes rapt. "Maybe that's what I need," she said when it was over. "To, run off with some prince or something." "Easier said than done," I said. "It's a fantasy for a reason." "Yeah, but it's a fun fantasy, right?" "I guess," I said. "Geez, Professor H, you should lighten up a little. Learn to have some fun." "Uh-huh," I said. "I guess, is that your phone?" Madison's phone was buzzing. It was Xavier Thornton again, calling to tell us that they were still questioning the two men who'd been in our parking lot.
They were indeed from Glorious Future, and said they'd been sent here by Vadim Zhirayev to keep an eye out for his cousin Madison, who had run away from home. They swore they had no ill intent, either towards Madison or America. They appeared to be cooperating to the fullest extent possible.
So you may have nothing to worry about now,
I heard Xavier tell Madison.
But just in case, keep your doors locked and don't go out alone. I'll be in touch if I find out anything more, or once you're safe to go about your business again.
Thank you, said Madison, once again sounding uncharacteristically subdued, not to mention polite. I really appreciate it.
Just be careful, young lady, and stand by for updates. It probably won't be until tomorrow morning unless it's something really big, though, so you might as well get some sleep while you can.
Okay, said Madison. Thanks. We'll try. She hung up. He thinks we're pretty safe now, she told me. He said we should try to go to bed and he'll get back to us in the morning. Sounds good, I said. And by morning, Frank will be here too. We'll just sit tight tonight, and hopefully by morning it will be all sorted out. Chapter 73. By then it was almost 10 p.m. Bedtime, if we could sleep. Madison was yawning cavernously, the reaction to the adrenaline of earlier finally setting in. She set up her bed on the floor with no complaints, leading me to conclude she was almost comatose. I was also feeling the post-adrenaline crash setting in, but when I got into bed and turned out the light, I could feel my body buzzing faintly against the sheets. Ugh! And I had class tomorrow. The last day of class. Kind of an important class to hold. It would be good to be rested and refreshed for it. My left knee buzzed extra hard and cramped. I turned onto my side to try to relax it. The motion made it cramp harder and then release into an even fiercer buzzing. Ugh! And I hadn't even done anything to strain it. It did this buzzing thing sometimes, but only after I'd overused it. But all I'd done all afternoon and evening was sit inside my apartment. My phone lit up the darkness with a soft glow and a faint ping. Normally I put it on silent for the night, but tonight I was leaving it on just in case. Good for safety, not so good for sleep. I picked up the phone, just in case. But it wasn't Frank, who was probably somewhere over the Mississippi right now, or Xavier Thornton, or anyone like that. It was Dima. Insomnia again and thought sails. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. I hope I'm not bothering you, Inachka. I've got insomnia too, I wrote. What's up? I don't know. I just wanted to talk to you. What time is it there? It's bedtime, isn't it? Probably too late for a video call, isn't it? Yes, I wrote. And I have a guest here, a former student who's having problems. And we've had a bit of a situation. What kind of a situation? You remember Vadim Zhirayev and Glorious Future? Of course. Well, they're here, I texted. And a couple of Vadim's guys came looking for us this evening. What happened? The police came and took them away. They told us it's probably all been taken care of. But not certainly, Dima wrote. Where's Vadim? That I don't know, I wrote. But he's in America. I think so, I wrote. I don't like this at all, Inichka. Neither do I admitted. Are the police looking for him? I think so. But they might not find him. He's pretty cunning, Ina. He's a dangerous guy. I know, I wrote. We won't go outside. We'll stay inside the locked apartment.
Good. Do you have a weapon of some kind?
Just kitchen knives.
Kitchen knives are better than nothing. Go get the biggest one and keep it by you. You remember what I showed you about knife fighting?
Yes. I didn't say that I hadn't really absorbed that lesson at the time, and I doubted I would be any better at it now. Dima had always been mad for self-defense. It was logical enough for a former Amon officer with a lot of enemies. It was annoying when he had been constantly forcing me to practice this or that self-defense technique, as well as keep up with my physical fitness. But it had saved me more than once. Maybe it would save me again. "I'll go get the knife right now," I wrote, and tiptoed into the dark kitchen. Madison lay on her improvised bed, apparently deeply asleep. I pulled my largest knife, an 8-inch stainless steel chef's knife that I occasionally sharpened in a desultory fashion, out of the knife drawer and tiptoed back into the bedroom. "Got it," I wrote. I laid it down on the floor next to my bed. Then I imagined stepping onto it in the middle of the night when I got up to go to the bathroom and driving it right through my foot. I shoved it under the bed. Less handy, but also less likely to require emergency surgery from a moment of inattention. I was reminded why I disliked weapons so much. Anything you could use to hurt an enemy, you could also use to hurt yourself, often by accident. Maybe I needed a lifestyle that required less need for weapons. Of course, that's what I'd been aiming for when I decided to go to grad school. Funny how that had worked out.
"Good," Dima wrote. "Okay, Ina, I'm about to do something crazy."
"What?"
"I'm going to call Vadim Zhurayev."
"You have his number?" That was not the only thing about that statement that surprised me, but it jumped out at me.
"I have one of his numbers. I've actually talked to him a few times. Weirdly, I don't think he completely hates me. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. I said that he was a lunatic, but a lunatic who believes in his lunacy and has the courage of his convictions, and he took that as a compliment. That's not how I meant it, but it's not my fault that he's not good at literary analysis. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. I'm going to try to contact him. Maybe he'll tell me what he's up to. If it's something about you, maybe I can convince him to leave you alone."
"Thanks," I wrote. "I'm really grateful for your help."
"Of course, Inachka. Now, sleep well."